Y'all, let's take it back to April 25th, 2002, when the world was rocked by the sudden death of Lisa Left Eye Lopes from TLC. Officially, the report said she died in a car crash while in Honduras. But from the very beginning, people have said something about that story doesn't sit right. Fans, friends, and even folks in the industry have whispered for years that there's more to it. Some believe Lisa wasn't just running away from fame or personal struggles. She may have been running from something way darker. See, in the months leading up to her death, Lisa had been speaking out more and more about the music industry and how it treated artists. She had already clashed with her group TLC, with her label, and with management. She talked about unfair contracts, money issues, and how artists had no creative control. And some say she was even working on a tell-all project, a book or documentary, where she wanted to reveal the truth about the darker side of entertainment. That idea alone made a lot of people wonder, was Lisa really just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was somebody making sure her voice was silenced before she could say too much? Now, in her final weeks alive, Lisa started to show behavior that people later described as both paranoid and spiritual. She told people she felt like she was being watched, maybe even followed. During her trip to Honduras, she was staying at Dr. Sebi's Usha village, a place where she was detoxing her body and mind. She was fasting, meditating, and trying to connect with a higher power. But here's the thing, Lisa didn't keep this journey private. She brought a camera crew with her. She documented everything, her fears, her visions, her dreams, and even the last moments of her life. It was almost as if she knew something was coming and wanted the world to see her truth. But the story gets even stranger. Before the crash that ended her life, Lisa was already convinced she was being followed by a spirit. And one night in Honduras, something shocking happened. A van she was riding in hit a little boy. The boy later passed away, and Lisa, who helped arrange to pay for his hospital and funeral costs, noticed something chilling. His last name was Lopes, the same as hers. Lisa believed that the spirit that had been haunting her was actually meant for her, but took the boy instead. That incident shook her deeply, and shortly afterward, she went on a road trip. That's when the car she was in swerved off the road, leading to the crash that killed her. Coincidence? Or something more? That's the question people have been asking ever since. So after Lisa's death, people started looking back at her battles in the music industry. And one of the biggest things that came up was money. Now, you'd think that a group as huge as TLC, who sold tens of millions of albums and were topping charts everywhere, would be swimming in cash, right? But no. Behind the scenes, Lisa and the other members were basically broke. Lisa herself once compared the whole situation to modern-day slavery. Imagine that! Selling millions of records, winning Grammys, being loved worldwide, but only making about $50,000 a year. That's what Lisa revealed was happening to TLC, even when their album sales were through the roof. Fans were shocked to learn that while TLC was dominating the music scene, the group was drowning financially. A lot of this blame has always been tied to one person, their former manager, Pebbles Reid. She was the one who discovered TLC, put the group together, and signed them under her management company. But instead of leading them to financial freedom, Pebbles has been accused for years of tricking them into signing contracts that worked against them. And the drama with contracts didn't just start with Lisa. It actually went all the way back to when the group was first forming. Remember, TLC wasn't always T-Boz, Left Eye and Chili. The original C in TLC was a girl named Crystal Jones. And according to Crystal, the way she got pushed out of the group was messy. She said Pebbles didn't even let her take her contract home to show her mum. When she refused to sign something she didn't understand, the rest of the group started distancing themselves from her. Soon, Crystal was told she wasn't in the group anymore. When Lisa realized later on that TLC was also being played with money, she didn't stay quiet. She went to the Los Angeles Times and openly talked about why they had to file for bankruptcy, even though they had one of the biggest albums in the country. She flat out said the music industry was full of greedy people taking advantage of young artists. Years later, when VH1 made a TLC biopic, Pebbles was shown in the film as manipulative, jealous, and controlling. Pebbles, of course, denied everything. She said she never cheated or misled anyone and even threatened to take legal action for how she was portrayed. Still, Lisa's own words, plus the group's struggles, made fans believe Pebbles really was one of the villains in Lisa's story. But Pebbles wasn't the only powerful figure connected to Lisa's career. There was also L.A. Reid, the co-founder of Layface Records, who was deeply involved in TLC's direction. By the early 2000s, Lisa had recorded her solo album, Supernova, a very personal project full of spiritual and emotional themes. But instead of pushing the album and helping it succeed, L.A. Reid is rumored to have held it back. In fact, the album only got released overseas, not even in the United States. Lisa was crushed, and this left her more and more distrustful of the label. Some say that L.A. Reid played a huge role in her being pushed aside, even blackballed in the industry. And if that wasn't enough, another big name comes into the picture, Clive Davis. At the time, he was running Arista Records, which was the parent company of Layface. Clive had the final say on what albums got released and promoted, and when it came to Lisa's solo work, there was no support. Some people close to the situation have whispered that Clive thought Lisa was too unpredictable, too wild, and too much of a risk. What makes fans even more suspicious is the money part. Reports have said that Clive Davis made $75 million from TLC, but only gave the group $150,000 to split between themselves. When people hear numbers like that, it just makes them wonder what was really going on behind closed doors. And when you mix that with the fact that Lisa was becoming more outspoken, more independent, and more spiritual, it raises questions about who may have wanted to silence her voice. Now, let's get into the personal drama that surrounded Lisa, because her life wasn't just about music battles and record labels. Behind the scenes, things were just as intense. One of the most talked about parts of her story was her relationship with football star Andre Rison. Their love was passionate, but it was also full of fights, breakups, and makeups. In the documentary Hopelessly in Love, people close to Lisa revealed that her connection to rapper Tupac Shakur caused even more problems. According to them, Lisa was in love with Tupac, and they even described him as her soulmate. Now, the two never actually crossed that line. Tupac once told Lisa from the start, "Never let me sleep with you," and they kept that boundary. But even though Lisa denied ever being with Tupac, Andre still didn't believe her. That tension only added more fuel to their rocky relationship. Eventually, Lisa and Andre got engaged, but she called off the wedding and walked away for good. After that, she started moving in a whole new direction. She even approached Suge Knight, the head of Death Row Records, because she wanted more creative control outside of TLC. Not only did they work together, but Suge admitted they ended up dating too. He said Lisa suddenly moved into his high-rise apartment with all her bags and belongings just like that. But Suge also dropped some serious bombshells. He claimed Lisa told him she was the only member of TLC not sleeping with L.A. Reid, and that the other members were involved with him. That's a heavy accusation, especially since Pebbles herself had once hinted about Chili having something with L.A. Reid while he was married to Pebbles. If what Suge said was true, Lisa's refusal to play along may have created even more tension between her and the powerful figures running her career. And then came another twist. Suge said Lisa had also been with Dallas Austin, the producer who was dating Chili at the time. That betrayal blew up into a nasty fight between Lisa and Chili. According to Suge, Chili confronted Lisa, and Lisa fired back with a cold answer, saying she made Dallas wear protection because she knew Chili had herpes. That moment showed just how messy and toxic things behind the scenes really were. But all of this, the love drama, the fights, and the label issues, wasn't the only thing going on in Lisa's world. She was also getting deeper into spirituality and holistic healing. At the center of that was Dr. Sebi, the famous herbalist. Lisa was a huge supporter of his teachings, and she truly believed in his methods. She wasn't just detoxing for herself, she wanted to spread the word. And that's where things take another dark turn. See, Dr. Sebi's teachings went against the pharmaceutical industry. Years later, Nipsey Hussle would start making a documentary about him, and people would point out how he also ended up dead before finishing it. Some fans believe Lisa's strong support of Dr. Sebi made her a target too. They say her growing influence, her willingness to speak out, and her spiritual awakening were too much of a threat to people in power. So here's the big question people still can't stop asking. Was Lisa's death just a tragic accident on a road in Honduras? Or did someone make sure she never got the chance to expose the secrets she was holding? Because if Lisa was silenced, the real mystery isn't just about how she died. It's about who might have wanted her gone and why. And trust me, the names that keep coming up will leave you shocked. Stay glued, like, share, and subscribe for more juicy celebrity news.